hello. The unexpected halt of proceedings sent a clamor around the courtroom. I'm so used to time being the first thing that we see. Welcome back for some more Let's Play The Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. But outside the Bailey, where Londoners knew nothing of the secret trial within, it was a typical still night. Then, what's happening at a little past 8 o'clock that evening? Wait, what? Mr. Sholmes and his partner returned to Baker Street. Look at all that food! For some reason I thought that one of them was going to be shot or something. It sounded ominous, but no, we got a spread. We got mince pie. We got chippy butty. We got bangers and mash. We got Yorkshire pudding. We got no spices. We have returned, my dear fellows. Welcome back to Britain, and thank you for your timely help. Think nothing of it. I believe you've had an even more wearing day than Mikitoba and I know. You could say that. You were on the brink of defeat in court earlier. So this prosecutor, Sogi, had you on the ropes, did he? And he's your best friend, you say? Well, he's not really the man I knew in Japan anymore. Kazuma's changed. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. I mean, it's incredible to think that he'd even entertain the idea of acting as the Reaper's assassin. Well, nevertheless, you must introduce me. After all, I've only ever met the young man as a corpse. When all this started, almost a year ago now, Mr. Sholmes still hasn't told us the truth about what really happened back then. About the motivation for what he himself described as a great detective's lie. Now then, I must say, it's really quite a journey all the way to France. Well, it is another country, Mr. Sholmes. So, what news of Judge Jigoku? We took him to Scotland Yard. The investigating detectives there have a lot of questions for the man. Poor Professor Mikitoba. This must be quite a shock for him. Yes. I picked this up at the telegraph office on our way home. What is it? Surely you haven't forgotten already. I put upon you for the matter only yesterday. You put upon me, Sholmes. I had to fill out your telegram to Japan and foot the bill as well. Oh, you've had a reply already. What was so urgent, though, Mr. Sholmes? Such matters can wait until later. I'm far too hungry for an involved conversation at present. Well, that's good news, because supper's ready, everyone. Ah, and what a feast it is! Oh, none the wiser, I'd think the trial were won already. Roast beef... I made this joke. I made this exact joke. I made this exact joke. What the frick are kippers? Isn't that a dog? Isn't kipper a dog? Kippers, I'm Googling it. Kippers are a traditional British breakfast that's consisting of herring that is split, gutted, and salted, and cold smoked and served with butter and lemon. Salt, butter, and lemon? Man, talk about spicy for a British palate. Oh my god, it's just a fish that's split open. I mean, I guess it's no different than, like, salmon stuff, but I can't do it if it looks like that. That looks very Japanese, actually. Reminds you like a split, like, fish there. Yeah. Okay. Don't like it. Roast beef, kippers, stew, steak and kidney pie, Yorkshire pudding. Tomorrow could be a very long day, so eat up. In that case, I think I'll seat myself just here. This place appears to be the only one set with a helping of pheasant as well. Pheasant? Pheasant's not bad. I've had it before. Oh, sorry, Hurley. Not there. Why ever not? Are we in set places this evening? Yes, and that place is for Susie's daddy. For me? That's right. I made it especially for you, Professor Mickey. Professor Mickey? Haha! see. Well, that's terribly kind of you. It's a shame, really. What do you mean? Well, for a brief moment, I believed it. That Susie and I were half-sisters, I mean. Okay. Oh! Oh! Iris, do you mean... Yes, I know now. I overheard yesterday. I secretly listened into the conversation you had after I tricked you all into thinking I'd left. You, little... You are going to be a great detective yourself one day. What? There he goes. Bye, Sholmes. He's on the floor now. The misunderstanding arose because of that autopsy report from 10 years ago. But actually, it turned out that neither Dr. Wilson nor Professor Mikotoba are Iris's father. Oh! There is one other choice that might be. That would explain a certain person's behavior towards her. Oh, wait. Whoa, this, Yes, about that, Iris? You know, I know. You can't tell me at the moment. Oh, Iris. The pheasant is by way of an apology. I'm sorry for eavesdropping. Oh, no, that's quite all right. Then why didn't I get any apologetic pheasant? Just who is Iris's father? I have an idea. We'll see. Suppose that's not something we'll be finding out today. So then, let us dine, while our largely pheasantless plates are still piping hot. A fine idea, Sholmes. It all looks absolutely delicious. Eat as much as you like. There are always seconds. This could be our last chance to ask questions before tomorrow's trial. About that telegram from Japan and about Kazuma. I can't let this opportunity slip away. So is it going to be like, oh, why are you sitting like that? You look so weird. You're so weird, dude. Why are you like that? It's just you there? And you're just like that? Okay. Okay, well, the good news is it's telling us what is already seen, which makes me happy. I like when they do that, because then we don't have to worry about clicking on stuff. That's very good. I like that. Thank you. Double checking. Guess we gotta click on Mr. City Pants over here. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? Surely it's abundantly clear that I wasn't brooding over Mikotoba's refusal to share his pheasant with me. Nevertheless, I felt the need to withdraw from the social circle for a while and look on with hungry eyes. Sorry, Hurley, but I cooked that pheasant especially for Susie's daddy. Even though I've played the role of father to you for far longer. Mr. Sholmes, could I discuss some things with you? Certainly, my dear fellow. I find myself quite in the mood for a spell of conversation. No doubt. You're hungry to learn more of my deep love of game. I can probably contain my curiosity on that one. You needn't look at me in that fashion. In what fashion? It seems that before we discuss the pheasant, we have some rather unpheasant matters to discuss. That's pretty good. Yes, let's talk. Talk to me about the telegram. So, what was in the telegram you received back from Japan then? Ah, this one. I thank my lucky stars it arrived in time. Record found as indicated. Duplicate follows. K. Asogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson. Huh? This is interesting. Those 4 names! We've come across this exact list before! They came up in that unforgettable case last spring. What appeared to be a simple case of aggravated murder turned out to be masking monumental intrigue. I completely forgot about this one having that list. A plot that involved the sale of British governmental secrets to foreign states. In exposing the means by which those secrets were being leaked, we deciphered a fragment of a message. I forgot about this. Thank you for reminding me. Kiyosugi A. Sin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson. We didn't find the names out until the case was over. Never did get to the bottom of what they meant. All we knew is that the information had been sent by someone in the British government to somebody in Japan. So, why are the names coming up again now? Yes. Where did that sender of your telegram discover them, Sholmes? I have here the message I had wired yesterday. Allow me to read it to you. Enter Judge Jigoku's office undetected and investigate telegram records. Expect to find communication from Britain dated 1 year ago. List of 4 names. Need by tomorrow. Naruhodo. Why my name at the end? I sent it to a detective I know who specializes in clandestine missions of this nature. A certain, Hiryu Strider was his name. Oh no, never mind, I forgot about Hosonaga. You asked Inspector Hosonaga to undertake such an onerous task for you?
Don't forget about me, Mr. Turtle. That's in less than me. Nah, I'm in this game too, right at the end. It all comes back to Mr. Turtle.
And in my name, oh, it was in his, I thought it was just like randomly saying his name at the end there, which makes 0 sense, but saying that it came from him makes more. I wonder what guise he opted for this time. My dear fellows, it was a matter of great urgency, you must understand. Anyway, the list of names was found in Seishiro's office as Sholmes predicted. So you mean that mysterious collection of names that was sent from Britain to Japan was... It was sent to Judge Jigoku. He was the intended recipient. This is so crazy that the judge might be complicit in a big mystery and be the one who goes like to jail. This is strange. Because I always saw the judge as a very neutral force. Neutral if not slightly off our side, you know, but I don't believe it. But that doesn't answer the question of what the list of names actually signifies. I did formulate a hypothesis about that, but without a shred of evidence, I couldn't possibly have shared it. Mr. Sholmes looks deadly serious for once. Telegram received, yep. Yeah, hi, talk to me about why you did that with Cosmo. That tragedy we had to go through on the SS Buria was all for nothing. Cosmo wasn't dead at all. We were completely taken in by the lie you told us. Your great detective's lie. He is smiling while he does that. I took no pleasure in deceiving you. However, at the time, all that concerned me was preventing the young man's study tour from taking place, whatever the cost. What? I capitalized on the events that transpired to see that he was sent back to Japan. His remains, you mean? Precisely, Miss Osato. And then I made sure that somebody else was sent to Britain in his stead. Oh my, you mean... The arrangement between our two countries was already in place. One university student lawyer and one judicial assistant to be accommodated on a study tour. In other words, by arranging for someone else to fill the place originally intended for Mr. Asogi, I would successfully prevent the man from arriving on our shores for several years at least. Wait, do you mean to say that it was all in aid of stopping Kazuma coming to Britain? That's why you... Think back, Mr. Naruhodo. Was there not somebody who quite casually urged you to continue on the voyage to England? Hey, buddy, you should go to England. The terms of this study were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. In the light of Mr. Asogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely. But there is no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer. The voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer. So, you manipulated me? I've often remarked on the extraordinary lengths to which friendship will drive a man. I was quite sure that you would rise to the challenge for your late friend. I don't believe it. How would you feel about having your life manipulated if it did lead you to a better place? I feel like I'd be okay with that personally. You know? I'm okay with people lying to me if it is to protect me or make me do things better. I am okay with that, actually. But if it was all contrived... I mean, what happened was treated by the authorities as murder. A woman was mistakenly arrested as the perpetrator. What do you suppose became of her? Naturally, I didn't allow the misapprehension to have any serious repercussions. I subsequently explained everything and assisted the unfortunate soul in finding the foreign refuge she sought. I seem to remember Mrs. Sato and I had some rather strong words for her. Well, she was certainly not devoid of all guilt. She deserved every word, I'm sure. What if she made it to America then? I'm afraid I simply cannot comprehend it. Why would you go to such lengths, Mr. Sholmes? Why were you so determined to stop Kazuma-sama from reaching Britain? The truth is, 12 months ago, there was already a very tangible omen of impending tragedy, you see. Oh. An omen that, at this very moment in time, is close at hand. Huh? An omen of all these tragic events that already existed a year ago is closer to... Did he put something in the analytoscope and it was like, by the way, everything's gonna blow up or something? We need to find out exactly what Mr. Sholmes knows. Am I right? No, okay, I thought it'd be... He put something in there and it made him go like, I know what it is now. It's... This thing's happening in a year. And it's like, maybe? I don't know. A year ago. This? There was no room for doubt with your instructions in this telegram, Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, you were very clear it was Judge Jigoku's office that should be searched, so... You obviously knew that's where the list of names would be found. Kei Asogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson... We only learned of those 4 names just over 6 months ago now. And only because they appeared as part of the top-secret government communications that were leaked. That's true, yes. But at the time, you were unaware of the background. You see, those 4 names were wired to Japan. Around 6 months before that. Approximately this time of year, in fact, when you were both still in Japan. It really would be hypocrisy on my part to reprove others for intercepting state secrets. Because after all, I'm perpetually eavesdropping on communications between the British and Japanese governments. I feel like you shouldn't do that, buddy. You're perpetually doing what? How? Never mind the details, but you should know. No secret is safe from Herlock Sholmes, and he has designs on knowing it. Oh my, Mr. Sholmes! What a fabulous line. Now, 1 month after the list of forenames was wired to recipient Jigoku in Japan, Dr. John H. Wilson was murdered. Huh. As soon as I learned of the incident, a hypothesis rapidly took shape in my mind. As it turned out, I was partly correct and partly mistaken. Nevertheless, it was the beginning of all of the tragic events that were to follow. Mr. Sholmes, please, tell us all you know. Tell us about these four names and the tragedy to which they're all somehow connected. There we go, the four names. And four means death. As I said, when I learned of Dr. Wilson's murder in Japan, my mind immediately turned to those four names. Because you see, there was someone else on the list who I believed to be recently deceased. What? Who? A Shin, as it was transcribed in Japanese script. In actual fact, Miss Asa Shin. That was a familiar name to me. She was a professional killer, well known among London's unsavory classes. Oh, I see. But she had completely vanished from existence several months before Wilson's murder. I came to the logical conclusion that she had herself been killed, and accordingly, I became fearful for the lives of the remaining two persons on the list. Heisogi and T. Gregson. Owing to our proximity, I decided to take measures to protect Gregson myself. I determined it'd be safest if young Asogi were to stay away from Britain. So that's why he went to such lengths to prevent his study tour from going ahead. Exactly. So, you already knew who Kazuma-sama was, Mr. Sholmes. Oh yes, Sholmes and I have exchanged correspondence for years. I'd recounted many tales about Asogi to him in my letters, and the news of Dr. Wilson's death, of course. Oh. It was said out loud. Dr. Wilson is dead then. I didn't know. Oh, Iris. I know he wasn't my daddy, but still, that's very sad. I'm so sorry, Iris. We knew the significance of the name, obviously, but we just couldn't bring ourselves to tell you. No. But what you just told us, Mr. Sholmes, doesn't completely tie in with the facts. There's one big hole in your hypothesis. A big hole, Mr. Naruhodo? Ah, yes. You mean about Asa Shin, I presume? Oh, of course. Exactly. She wasn't killed, was she? She was in Japan, posing as a visiting student under the assumed name of Giselle Brett. I'm glad you're keeping up, my dear fellow, but I only became aware of that fact 2 days ago in the foyer of the Great Waterloo Hotel. Ah. And upon hearing that startling revelation, the hypothesis that I'd formed surrounding those four names was completely turned topsy. What? Topsy? Sorry, bottomsy. Bottomsy. You might understand that more, Miss Naruhodo. What do you mean when you say your hypothesis was turned topsy, Mr. Sholmes? I believed all four names. And it's funny, we're playing this on a Switch, huh? We're playing it on a Switch, and we're talking... Okay, that's fine. I believed all four names on the list to be the names of victims. However, I was mistaken. Very much so. Asa Shin was a killer. So this telegram is a list of both victims and killers, is it? Oh. Kazuma Asogi to be killed by A. Shin. T. Gregson to be killed by no, wait, what? Indeed. And it would seem that Miss Shin was dispatched from Britain with the sole intent of dispatching Dr. Wilson. Oh, right, no, she killed Wilson. So Shin kills Wilson. Asogi kills Gregson? Huh? A visiting student's status being merely a front. Which would of course explain why no motive could be determined for her actions. So the real reason Dr. Wilson was killed by Asa Shin is because he was the target of an assassination. And forearmed with that knowledge, fresh consideration of this telegram puts the list in a very different perspective. What do you mean? Well, does it not strike you? There's another among the four who subsequently became a visiting student. Wait, you mean... But of course, a name you know only too well. You mean Kazuma? Oh, he did say in court earlier today. Yes, on 31st of October, I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission. And the mission was the assassination of the Oh! He wasn't Oh, he didn't lie. The mark from before. Young Mr. Asogi accepted that mission a year ago now. Surely not. In conclusion, this document is a contract of sorts. An international agreement, one might say, detailing an assassin exchange. Shut up, no way, that's crazy. An assassin exchange? How could Kazuma possibly got involved in something like that? That's insane. Let's assume that we have two parties, each wishing to dispose of a distinct individual. Those two parties then make a contract to swap their respective assassination targets. That would then be an assassin exchange. So to begin with, the British assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Japan, where she kills her target. And then the Japanese assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Britain in order to eliminate his target. It certainly does sound like an exchange. But what on earth is the point? Don't forget, Naruto. And the British assassin at least escaped conviction, thanks to diplomatic immunity afforded by consular jurisdiction. Oh my god, this goes deep. Oh yes! Such jurisdiction should be null and void under the terms of the new treaty between our two countries. So the fact it was brought into play suggests intervention at the very highest levels. The highest levels? These murders were two sides of the same coin, linked by a common motive. Not by a common motive, but by contractual agreement. As such, they appeared utterly unrelated. Yet in truth, the assassins were complicit in a singular, devilish scheme. That dissociation and the safeguard of diplomatic immunity were, I believe, the motivation behind this plot. But wait a minute, Sholmes. If this telegram really is describing the exchange of assassins as you're suggesting, it would mean that the Japanese killer's target was never Seishiro Jigoku at all. It would mean Asogi's target was actually Inspector Gregson. What? Cosmo's here for Gregson? So Judge Jigoku wasn't actually the mark? Yes, that's exactly what it would mean. I hold myself personally responsible for failing to keep the inspector safe. Mr. Sholmes, I'm starting to think he didn't sneak out of the. This whole time, I'm like, Gregson will be fine. He'll survive. They never kill off a character like this in the last They wouldn't. I'm starting to think he's dead. Mr. Sholmes, I told him of my fears and implored him to seek a transfer to an overseas position. Obviously, with the young pickpocket in tow. Yes, Gina. Come to think of it, Inspector Gregson did mention that to us at the Great Exhibition, that he'd been transferred to the Paris police and taking Gina with him. Without informing me, he engaged in one last assignment, it seems. And sadly, it turned out to be his very last. This is too much to take in. This is crazy, because, yeah, like, normally, like, he wouldn't kill off a character. Which is why I was always like, oh, it's just gonna be fine. But no, I think they did. All right, everyone, that's quite enough of all that serious talk for one day. Isn't it, Hurley? I mean, look at the time. Quite right, Iris. We must conclude our preparations for tomorrow. What preparations? Well, I think I shall make my way back to my hotel room now. It's certainly been a night to remember. It is a little bit sad, though. Huh? I mean, I like the idea of you being my daddy. Okay, this is an adorable line that if it was said by any other character, people would destroy and contort into something horrible, but this is legitimately really sweet. Because then Susie would have been my big sister. I'm sorry, Iris. Is Sasato gonna explain how in Japan you don't have to be blood related to be a big sister? I know, Iris. I was thinking quite the same thing. Were you? But if somebody like me would be worthy, I would be delighted to become your sister. What? Really? Oh yes, without question. So, you'll teach me all the ways you know to throw Runo to the floor? Yes, of course. It would be my pleasure. You didn't have to agree quite so readily. Oh, but wait a minute. If Susie's gonna be my big sister, you could be my big brother if you want, Runo. Huh? I mean, yeah, of course. If you'll have me, I'll gladly be your brother. Well done, Iris. We must always be mindful of feelings. I've raised you so well. Because being sensitive is your strong suit, naturally. Well, right. I'm going to work extra hard for tomorrow now, because it's for my big brother and sister. What is all this talk about preparing for tomorrow? Preparing what? You'll just have to wait and see. Oh. Good luck in court tomorrow. I'm expecting a sterling performance. I'll do my very best, of course. So, the overnight break in the trial's proceedings became a crucial turning point, exposing new truths whilst posing new conundrums. That list of 4 names on the telegram in Judge Chigoku's office, and the extraordinary assassination plot in which my best friend had somehow become involved. I felt as though I had been plunged into an even greater darkness all of a sudden. But at the same time, I felt sure I would see the light again soon. Because I was lucky enough to have my great ace attorney. The most wonderful family in the world standing steadfast behind me. That's right. How is Sholmes brought into this relationship? I don't know. That was a very, is that to be continued? Wow, that was the shortest section of all time. Because I feel... Oh, it's going to be really short. Because I feel... we're going to have 2 short videos in a row. It's fine. It's fine. Because I feel that we're going to be dealing with, like, extremely long trial tomorrow. I feel like it's going to be a long part. I am going to call it here because last thing I want is to turn this into a 4-hour part. I would go crazy. It's already late. We're going to have a shorter video here. And next time, we'll be back. The trial. The resolve of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. We'll see you guys then. Ciao.
Yo.